Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will show you how to scrape fake and real news data from your website. Now before we begin, if you like the content on this channel, be sure to hit that like button, and if you are not already a subscriber to the channel, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more videos. Now currently I'm on Google's website. It's called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So that means that you do not have to install Python onto your computer. All you have to do is go to this website, log in using your Google account, and get started writing your Python code. So to get started writing this code, you're going to want to click on File and then click on New Notebook, where a new tab open up for you, and then eventually a new cell open up for you as well. And the first thing that I'm going to do is write a comment about the code. I'm going to write a description about the code. That way when I look back at the description, I can just read it and I will know what the program was supposed to do or is supposed to do. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to type description. Okay, so this program scrapes fake and real news data from a website, more specifically from politifact.com. All right, so speaking of that website, I already have it loaded up here. So let's go ahead and go there. And what we can see immediately is that the URL ends in page equals some number. So it's going to be important for us because they have different page numbers. So we can use that to loop through the website, right, to get some of that information that we want. Now, what do I mean by scraping a website or scraping this website specifically? I mean that we're going to gather information from this website and then store it somewhere. So in this case, we're going to get text from the website. Okay, so what I'm interested in is this statement here. And we can see the source of the statement here is Donald Trump. And we can see that this was stated on November 16, 2020. And we can see that this was posted by the author, Bill McCarthy, on November 18, 2020. And then we can see that the scorecard is false. So if you want to see the different scorecards, we could just right click here, click open, link in new tab, and we can see the levels for the scorecard. So we can see true, mostly true, half true, mostly false, false, and pants on fire. All right, so let's go back to the website, and I think we've looked at all of the data that we want to scrape, and we can see that the structure is pretty much the same for all of the other statements. Okay, so let's go back to the code and let's create a new cell by clicking this code button here in the top left. And in this cell, I'm going to import the libraries that I plan on using throughout the program. So from BS4, I'm going to import beautiful soup. Next, I'm going to import pandas as PD. Next, I'm going to import requests. And I'm going to import URL live.request. And last but not least, I'm going to import time. And let's go ahead and run this cell by clicking this button here to the left. And this will tell us if I made any mistakes. Okay, so everything looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And in this cell, I want to create lists to store the scraped data. So I want to get the authors, and I want to get the dates, and I want to get the statements, and I want to get the source, and then I want to get the targets. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this cell. All right, everything looks good. Let's create a new cell. And in this cell, I want to create a function to scrape the website. So I'm going to call this function scrape underscore website, and it's going to take in a page number. So that way I can just input a number and then it will scrape that web page from the politifact.com website. All right, so let's go ahead and create a variable called page num and set it equal to the page number converted to a string. So just type str page underscore number here. So that looks good. Next, let's get the URL. So I already have the URL up here, so I'm just going to highlight it and copy it using Control C, go back to the code and paste it here using Control V. Next, I want to get rid of that number 1 and append the page number to this URL. It's just going to be page_num. Okay. And next, I want to make a request to the website. So I'm going to create a variable called web page and set it equal to request.get URL. Okay. Next, I want to parse the text from the website. So I'm going to create a variable called soup and set it equal to beautiful soup. And we're going to get the text from the web page. So just type webpage.text. And again, I want to parse this HTML. So type HTML.parser. Okay, so I think that looks good. Next, let's get the location of the information. So I want to get the author and the date location. So let's go to the website here, and the author and the date are here. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to right click here and then click inspect. You should be able to do this with any modern web browser, but just in case you can't, you can use Google Chrome like I'm using here. All right, and we can see the information is right here under the footer tag where the class is equal to m-statement__footer. So this is where the information is that I want to scrape. So I'm going to go back to the code and I'm going to create a variable called statement_footer. And I'm going to set this equal to soup.find_all. And I want to find all of the footer tags where the class is equal to m-statement__footer. Okay, so again, this is the location of the author and the date. Okay, so next I want to get the statement location. So let's go back to the website and let's highlight the statement and then right click and click inspect. Okay, so now we can see that the statement is here under the A tag, and that A tag is under this div class, or I'm sorry, this div tag where the class is m-statement__quote. So let's go back to the code and let's get that location. So I'm going to create a variable called statement_quote, and I'm going to set this equal to soup.find_all, and I'm going to find that div tag where the class is equal to m-statement__quote. Okay, so this is the location of the statement. All right, next I want to get the source of the statement. So I want to get that location. So let's go back to the website. I'm going to highlight the source, right click and click inspect. All right, and I see that that's in this A tag under this div tag here where the class is m-statement__meta. So let's go ahead and go back to the code and create a variable called statement_meta and set it equal to soup.find_all, where the div tag has the class equal to m-statement__meta. So again, this is the location of the source. And then we're going to create a variable called target. And let's see, let's go back to the website and we see that the target's here in this image. So I'm just going to right click the image and then click inspect. Okay, and I can see in this image tag here that it has the data that we want, which is the text from the alt, which is false. And I can see the same thing in this image tag here. We have the alt equals false. So I'm probably going to use the div tag here where the class is cImage to scrape this. And actually, let's go up one more level and let's get this div class here. I'm sorry, let's get this div tag here where the class is m-statement underscore underscore meter. So let's use that div tag. Okay, so let's go back to the code. Let's set this equal to soup dot find underscore all, and I want to get that div tag where the class is m-statement underscore underscore meter. Okay, and again, this is the location of the target, and the target is the scorecard. Okay, so I think that will do it. So now let's go ahead and loop through the statement footer. So we're going to use a for loop for this. So for I in statement underscore footer, I'm going to create a variable called link1 and set it equal to i.text.strip. Okay, because the text was right there. I'm going to create a variable called name and date, or name underscore and underscore date, and I'm going to set this equal to link1.split. Okay, and I'm going to create a variable called first underscore name and set it equal to name underscore and underscore date at position, I believe it's 1. So let's go back to the website and let's highlight this here, right click, click inspect, and we can see here that the first name is Bill at position 1, and then the last name is McCarthy at position 2, and then the month here should be at position 4, the day should be position 5, and then the year should be position 6. Okay, so let's go back to the code, and I'm just going to highlight this and copy using Control C because I'm going to be using it quite a bit. So I'm going to get the last name as well, which I said is at position 2, and I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Okay, next I want to get the full name. So I'm going to create a variable called full underscore name. So that's just the first name plus a space plus the last name. And next I'm going to get the month. So that was at name and date position 4. All right. And then I'm going to get the day, which was at name and date position 5. And then the year, which was at name and date position 6. So this may actually cause some issues later on, but for now, let's not worry about it. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and create the date. So the date will be the month plus a space plus the day plus a space plus the year. Okay, and then I want to append the date to the dates list. So I'm just going to type dates.append, and we're going to append the date. And then I want to append the full name to the authors list. So I'm just going to type authors.append first underscore name. All right, or is it first name? Sorry, it's full name. Full underscore name. Okay, so for the authors, I'm going to append the full name. Okay. All right, so next I want to loop through the statement quote. So for I in statement underscore quote, I'm going to create a variable called link2. I'm going to set that equal to i.find underscore all. I believe the statement was in a tag. So let's go ahead and just double check this. All right, so if I go here, right click, click inspect. Yes, it's in the a tag. Okay, so let's go back to the code. I'm going to create a variable called statement underscore text, and I'm going to set this equal to link to at position 0 dot text dot strip. Okay, and then I'm going to append this to the statement list. So just type statements dot append and then input statement underscore text. Okay, so next I want to loop through the meta. So let's just type for I in statement underscore meta. I'm going to create a variable called link3. I'm going to set this equal to I dot find underscore all. I believe that was in the a tag as well. Let's go ahead and check that, and remember that meta contained the source of the statement. So let's go back here and let's look at the source. Right click, inspect. Okay, so yep, it's under this a tag here, so we can just extract that text there. So let's go back to the code. All right, so I'm gonna create a variable called source underscore text and set it equal to link3 at position 0 dot text dot strip, and then I want to append this to the source list. So just type sources dot append source underscore text. Okay, so that looks good. And then last but not least, I want to loop through the target. So for I in target, I am going to create a variable. I will call it link4, and I'm going to set this equal to I dot find. This one right here is going to be a little different, right? Because there was a div tag we needed to look through, and that div tag had a class. So I think the class was called c-image. So I'm going to type c-image here, and then within that div tag was another tag. So we're finding the div tag where the class is c-image, and then I need to find the image tag, and then within that image tag was the alt, so I need to get that alt. Okay, so let's just double check this. Let's go back to the website, right click on the image, click inspect, and indeed we are in this div tag, and then we find the div tag where the class is c-image, and then we are in the image tag, and we get the text here from the alt. Okay, so let's go back, and I think that will do it. So let's go ahead and add this or append this to the targets list. So just type targets.append, and we're going to append link4. Okay, so let's run this. All right. Now let's go ahead and create a new cell. And in this cell, I want to loop through n-1 web pages to scrape the data. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called n and set it equal to the number of pages that I want to scrape -1, right? Well, let's see here. Yes, so I want to set n equal to 2 if I want to only scrape one page. And we're going to use a for loop for this. So for I in range 1 to n, from 1 to n, I'm going to call our function scrape website, and I'm going to input I. Okay, so again, n is equal to 2 because I want to scrape n-1 web pages. So in this case, it would be one web page, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put this in parentheses here. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it looks like there's some errors, and okay, there we go. Statement quote is not defined. So let's go back up here and let's see where I messed up. Right here, looks like I misspelled quote. So let's go ahead and rerun this and rerun this. Okay, and then let's rerun this. All right, so I got something else wrong. Name sources is not defined. All right, so let's see sources. Um, Here I created just source, so let's go ahead and run this again. Let's run this. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, so now everything looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell, and now let's create the data frame. So here we're going to create the data frame. So hopefully those were the only errors in the function, but I guess we'll find out soon. So I'm going to create a variable called data, set it equal to pd.data frame, and I'm going to give it some columns. So one column will be called author, another column will be called statement, the next column I will call source, and I will create the date column and the target column. Okay, so now to give these columns some values, so just type data author and set this equal to our authors list, and then data statement and set this equal to our statements list, and then data source and set this equal to our sources list, and then data date and set this equal to our dates list, and then data target and set this equal to our targets list. And then I want to show the data, so just type data here and let's run this. All right, and here is our data set. So we have the author here, we have the statement, we have the source of the statement, the date that this was published on the website, and then the target, which is the scorecard, right? So we have false, pants on fire, mostly true, pants on fire, half true, all of that. Okay, so that looks really good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And in this cell, I am going to create a function to get a binary number from the target. So basically, what I want to do is classify any of the target labels or values. I want to classify them as true only if they say true. Anything else will be false. So even mostly true will be false if it's not fully true. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that function. I'm going to call it get binary num target, and it's going to input some text, and if that text is true, then I'm going to return 1, else I'm going to return 0. Okay, and we can see the value here in the data set. So you see it's all lowercase true, so that's why I'm comparing it to that value here. All right, because we're going to use that target data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this. Let's go ahead and create a new cell, and in this cell I'm pretty much going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to highlight all of this, copy using Control C, and then come down here and paste it using Control V. But instead of using a binary number, I'm going to get a binary label. So I'm going to get either true, which is real, or false, which is fake news from the target. Okay, so let me see here. Create a function to get a binary label, true, real, or false, fake from the target. Okay, perfect. So I will call this just get binary target, And instead of us returning 1 here, I'm going to return real. And instead of me returning 0 here, I'm going to return fake. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Okay, let's create a new cell. And in this cell, I basically want to create new columns. Create 2 new columns with the, or create 2 new columns on the data frame. All right, so just type data, and I'm going to call the first column binary target. It's probably not a good name for it, but we're going to use again the data from our target column, and I'm going to apply the function get binary target. Okay, and then I'm basically going to do the same thing for the other column. So I'm going to highlight it, copy using Control C, and then paste it here using Control V, and just change a few things. So I'm going to call this binary num target, and then I'm going to apply the get binary num target function. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Okay, and let's create a new cell, and then let's show the data. So just type data here, and let's run this. Okay, and now I can see the 2 new columns, and we can see that it classifies the target as fake or 0. And let's see if we can find any real. Yep, so here we go. We can see real and 1 here. So I may use this later on for another project. So I'm going to use this data set probably for another project, and I think it'd be good to already have the data set up like this. All right, last but not least, I want to store the data to a CSV file. So here I'm going to type store the data to a CSV file. And in order to do this, just type data.to_CSV, and let's give that file a name. I'm going to call it political_fact_checker.csv. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. All right, so that's good. Let's check it. Let's see if it's there. Perfect. So I have the political_fact_checker.csv file here. Okay, so that's basically it. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to support this channel, I will leave a link to my Patreon page in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a great day, and see you in the next one.